Hi, my name is JD and this is my channel Frost and Forest. So today I'm going to be doing the hashtag collection meets decks started by Candy Soul and Soil. This was a VR that went around a while ago and it looked really fun. It was a great way to kind of see what other people's interests were, but also get to see a lot of really cool tarot decks. And so basically, if you haven't seen a video, which I'm assuming most of you have, if you haven't seen a video, essentially you take a collection of something that is not decks and you talk about them, but then you also connect them to your decks. And so for the collection that I have is shot glasses. Now, don't get too excited. It's not like I do shots all the time, but I do find that shot glasses are a great way to remember where you've been. They're small, and so they're easy to carry with you if you're traveling, especially on a plane. They're also easy for other people if they're bringing you back something that's small that you can have with you. And you can usually find them at all the touristy places. And so for me, it's been kind of great to be able to collect them over time. And I was kind of excited when I started pulling them all out to do this. You know, all the stories started to come back about where I was and how I got these shot glasses. So yeah, that is the collection I'm going to be talking to you about today. So let's get started. These are in no particular order, especially not through time, because that would make my brain hurt if I tried to, pick my earliest shot glasses and move forward. So I'm just going to kind of grab them and then I'll grab the decks that I chose to pair with them. So the first shot glass that I have is this one. This is a shot glass that I got, as you can tell, from Salem, Massachusetts. My husband's family was having sort of a family reunion out east, and Salem was I think 45 minutes away from where we were. And so some of us went in to Salem for the day. And so it was really fun. I got to wander around and I got to soak in the witchy vibes. And so this is the first shot glass. This one I paired with the Cozy Witch Tarot. I chose this one because this is one of my witchier decks, but this shot glass was from Salem, Massachusetts. And it also is just kind of a witch doing a normal-ish witchy thing. And so this just seemed like the right deck. Of course, I'm not getting any cards. Okay, here we go. With the hats, with the witchy hats. I really love the witchy hats. So yeah, this deck just seemed to kind of match that everyday witch vibe. I am also waiting to get in the All Hallows Eve deck. I pre-ordered it, or I kickstarted it, I don't remember. But that also seems like a good deck that would pair nicely with the shot glass, but I don't have that one yet. So for now, my Cozy Witch Tarot is going to go with my Salem, Massachusetts deck. So the next shot glass I have is from Grant's Farm. And when I was in college, I was traveling with some friends from college and we stopped at Grant's Farm. And for those of you who don't know, Grant's Farm is connected with Budweiser, but it is where they have some of the Clydesdales that are, in the Super Bowl commercials, and just that Budweiser is kind of known for. And so I wanted to stop because I wanted to see the Clydesdale horses. I'm not a particular, I don't have any particular feelings one way or the other about Budweiser, but I like horses and I especially like giant horses like Clydesdales. So the deck that I paired with this one is the Greenwich Tarot. Of course, that card comes up first. Awesome. But this is the card that made me think of this deck first. I know that this is a completely different time period feeling / magical world feeling, but I don't have a lot of decks that feel farmy. I have some animal decks, and I did pull out some of my animal decks, like the Animal Totem Tarot, and some other decks like that, but those did not feel quite right. And so this felt more like the farm life, or the closest thing that I had to sort of a farm life deck. And so that's why I chose this one. The colors also kind of match a little bit better than some of the other decks that I was looking at as well. It kind of has this green that went along. So yeah. For my Grant Farm shot glass, I chose the Greenwich Tarot. Okay, so the next shot glass I have is from the Turkey Run State Park. I think I went there with some friends at one point, and we stayed in some cabins that they had there. And so this is a very beautiful shot glass that I have. For this shot glass, I chose the Forager's Daughter Tarot. This is a very naturey deck. It is a very Midwestern naturey deck. And so it just kind of fit the vibe, I think, of this shot glass. And, you know, on the shot glass, there's a bear, there's what looks like maybe a hawk, a deer, and so that's the same kind of animals that you would see in this deck. And so part of the reason why I chose, see, look at that, perfect. So I chose this one just because the nature feels very similar to the kind of nature that you would see at Turkey Run State Park. And I think the colors and the aesthetic fit this shot glass very well. Shot glass is from Austin, Texas. I love the blue and the black. It's a beautiful shot glass. And this, I've never actually been to Austin, Texas. I don't think I've ever been to Texas at all. But this is a shot glass that my husband got when he went down there for a conference. And so he brought me back this one. The deck that I paired with this one, and you can see that beautiful blue gilding, I think matches pretty well. And these beautiful backs. But this is the Magpie's Lenormand. And so the blue on the front of the cards doesn't match it perfectly, but I think that that's okay. And just the shadowy nighttime kind of twilight-y feeling means that this deck matches this shot glass really well. This is a really beautiful deck. It's a little bit big for a Lenormand, in my opinion, but the art is beautiful. I love that horse, that rider card. And this goes with a lot of nighttime decks that I have. And see, the stars in both of them kind of match. So yeah, this is the Magpie's Lenormand, and it goes with my Austin, Texas shot glass. The next shot glass that I have, this is from a zoo that I went to with my cousin's kids. And I loved this shot glass with the polar bear. It just felt so beautiful. And so for this one, I chose the Wild Unknown Pocket Tarot. This just kind of had the same dark feeling to it. I thought about pairing the Terra oracle with this, but it kind of bothered me that the background in that is white and the lines are black, whereas in this case the background is black but the lines are white, so it just felt kind of contrasted to each other. So instead it seemed like this one fit a lot better. And this is an animal deck, and so it kind of matches the zoo vibe, as well as just kind of that dark, like, I think it's negative space, is black. It has more of that in this deck, like that, right in there. So that's why I think this one pairs nicely with the Wild Unknown Tarot. Can't end on death. There we go. And the next one I have is a shot glass from New Jersey. This is another one that my husband got me when he was traveling for work. So the deck that I decided to pair with this one is very much about the aesthetics, not so much about the theme, I think. So the deck I chose was the Tarrochi Tarot. And so I chose this one because, well, one, I don't remember if this shot glass came kind of looking a little bit scuffed or looking a little bit like the art has rubbed off a little bit, or if that has happened because I've washed it. But it just kind of reminded me of the vintage version of this deck that I have, because they both have kind of that rubbed off look to them. This deck also can be, in some cards, a little bit pink forward. I'm trying to find some cards that show that, but pink is very much a color that is present. So it just seemed like this deck matched. Now, whether the theme of this deck matches, I think is another question, but visually I think they match. Next shot glass I have is one that my sister-in-law got for me when she was in Puerto Rico, and so this is a beautiful shot glass. I love it a lot. Yeah, there we go. For this one, I picked the Seaglass Tarot. Now, I know I showed this in a pretty recent video, and so I like to try to show different decks, just because I think that that's more interesting to share different decks. But this one just seemed to fit this shot glass so well that I just had to pair it, and I had to show it again. But this just kind of has sort of a stained glass-y feel as well. And so, yeah, this is the Seaglass Tarot. I hate ending on some of the harder cards. I feel like it's better to end on a good card. So my next shot glass is kind of, it's yellow, and I got it in Minnesota when I was there. And so given this color, I thought about maybe doing the chicken tarot that I showed in my last video. But again, I like to show different decks. So instead, I decided to show the Mushroom Hunters Tarot. And the reason I decided to show this one is because this one is pretty like yellow forward. And so there's a lot of cards that have kind of this yellowish sky behind them. And so I thought that this deck would match this shot glass pretty well. I really like this deck. I know some people really like it. and some people are not as big a fan of it, but I think this deck, I find this deck very cozy. And so yeah, this is my pairing. Next shot glass I have is my Ufta shot glass. And so I'm from the Midwest. I don't commonly use the word Ufta. I'm more of an ope person, but still, this is nostalgic for me because I grew up in the Midwest. This one, I chose the Oracle deck, Thanks, I Hate It. This is a really sassy Oracle deck that I really like. The creator, I will follow her like weekly card pulls, and this is her deck. And so I like to, so I decided to get it because I liked seeing it on Instagram so much. And so this just felt like the right deck. And of course, it has a hot dish card. So again, I tend to be a casserole person, but I understand the hot dish. And so it just felt, this deck just felt right for the Ufta shot glass. This last shot glass is this beautiful shot glass that I got from Hershey, Pennsylvania when I went there for a conference. And so it's just, I'm going to try to make it stay. Please stay. There we go. So that is a beautiful, I love that shot glass. The deck that I paired it with is purely based on aesthetics. And so I chose the Candle in the Cave tarot deck. It has that very chocolatey feel to it. And I will tell you that the feeling of the shot glass kind of matches the feeling of the deck. They both have kind of the smooth feeling to them. And so I just thought that this deck pairs really nicely with this shot glass, even though this deck is not particularly chocolatey. The other thing is going to visit Hershey, Pennsylvania was really fun. And if you ever make it out there, I would say make sure you check out the street lamps because they're very cute. So yeah, that's the last shot glass that I have to show you. I have many more shot glasses, as you saw in that clip that I showed at the beginning. But one, I didn't want to be here all day. And two, these were the ones that paired best with some of the decks I had. So I hope you've enjoyed this, and thanks for stopping by.